Welcome to Crime Story with Camila, where we dive deep into the most chilling and mysterious true crime cases. If you love real-life crime stories, make sure to like, subscribe, and share so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you the most in-depth investigations and untold stories. In 2008, a 2-year-old girl vanished without a trace. For 31 days, no missing person report was filed. No frantic search. No emergency call. Instead, her mother partied, lied, and carried on as if nothing was wrong. This is the story of Caylee Anthony, and the case that shocked America when her mother, Caylee Anthony, stood trial for murder and walked free. More than a decade later, the question still haunts millions. Was this a tragic accident, a calculated crime, or the greatest failure of justice in modern U.S. history? This is the Caylee Anthony case. Before this case became one of the most infamous trials in American history, Caylee Marie Anthony was a 22-year-old single mother living in Orlando, Florida, with her parents, George and Cindy Anthony, and her 2-year-old daughter, Caylee Marie Anthony. To the outside world, the Anthony family appeared ordinary, a middle-class household, close-knit, with grandparents who doted on their only grandchild. Caylee was described as cheerful, energetic, and deeply loved by her grandparents. But behind closed doors, tension was growing. Caylee had a strained relationship with her parents. She was unemployed, frequently lied about her whereabouts, and struggled with responsibility. Despite these issues, Caylee often presented herself as carefree, enjoying nightlife, socializing with friends, and living as though she had few obligations. Caylee, meanwhile, spent much of her time in the care of her grandparents, particularly Cindy Anthony, who often acted as the child's primary caregiver. This dynamic, a young mother seeking freedom, grandparents stepping in, and unresolved family conflict, would become critically important once Caylee suddenly vanished. Because when Caylee disappeared in June 2008, the question wasn't just what happened to her, but why no one noticed she was gone for an entire month. On June 16, 2008, 2-year-old Caylee Marie Anthony was last seen alive in Orlando, Florida. According to Caylee Anthony, she dropped Caylee off that morning with a nanny named Zenaida Gonzalez, someone she claimed had been caring for her daughter regularly. Caylee said she expected to pick Caylee up later that day, but that never happened. Hours turned into days. Days turned into weeks. And still, no missing child report was filed. For 31 days, Caylee Anthony was gone, and no one outside the Anthony family knew. During that time, Caylee continued living her life as usual. She went out with friends, attended parties, and even got a tattoo that read Bella Vita, Italian for beautiful life. To investigators, her behavior appeared disturbingly calm for a mother whose child had supposedly been kidnapped. Meanwhile, at home, Cindy Anthony grew increasingly alarmed. She repeatedly asked Caylee where Caylee was. Each time, Caylee gave a different excuse, that Caylee was with a nanny, with friends, or staying elsewhere. None of it was true. On July 15, 2008, Cindy Anthony made a frantic call to 911. She reported her granddaughter missing and told police something else that would send shockwaves through the investigation. She said the family car smelled like a dead body. At that moment, what had been a family mystery became a full-scale criminal investigation.
911, what's your emergency?
I called a little bit ago. The deputy sheriff said I found out my granddaughter has been taken. She has been missing for a month. Her mother finally admitted that she's been missing. My daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store. I need to find her.
Your daughter admitted that the baby is where?
But the babysitter took her a month ago that my daughter's been looking for. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter. And she just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Caylee, Caylee, Anthony.
Caylee Anthony?
Yes.
Okay, is she white, black, or Hispanic?
She's white.
How long has she been missing for?
I have not seen her since the 7th of June.
What is her date of birth?
2000, oh God, she's 3. She's 2005. George Caylee's missing. Caylee's missing. Jesus.
For months, the search for Caylee Anthony gripped the nation. Volunteers combed through wooded areas, swamps, and neighborhoods near the Anthony home. Her face appeared on missing child posters across Florida. Despite the intense public attention, there were no confirmed sightings and no answers. Then, on December 11, 2008, nearly 6 months after Caylee vanished, a grim discovery was made. A utility worker searching a wooded area less than half a mile from the Anthony family home noticed what appeared to be human skeletal remains. Authorities were immediately called to the scene. The remains were found scattered in a heavily wooded area, inside and around trash bags, along with a child's blanket and pieces of duct tape located near the skull. Dental records later confirmed the unthinkable. The remains belonged to 2-year-old Caylee Marie Anthony. The medical examiner ruled Caylee's death a homicide by undetermined means. Due to the advanced state of decomposition, an exact cause of death could not be determined. No definitive evidence of drowning, poisoning, or suffocation could be established. However, the presence of duct tape raised disturbing questions that would become central to one of the most controversial trials in American history. With Caylee's body finally found, the case shifted dramatically. This was no longer a missing child investigation. It was now a murder case, and all eyes turned to Caylee's mother. Even before Caylee's remains were discovered, investigators had already begun to focus their attention on one person, Caylee Anthony. During multiple police interviews, Caylee's story repeatedly fell apart. She admitted she had lied about having a job. She admitted she had lied about where she was living. And most critically, she admitted the nanny she blamed for Caylee's disappearance, Zenaida Gonzalez, did not exist. Detectives also searched Caylee's car. Prosecutors later claimed the trunk smelled like human decomposition and that air samples tested positive for chemicals associated with a decomposing body, evidence that would later be fiercely debated in court. In October 2008, Caylee Anthony was formally arrested. After Caylee's remains were identified in December, the charges escalated dramatically. Prosecutors charged Caylee Anthony with first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter of a child, all capital offenses under Florida law. The state announced it would seek the death penalty. The prosecution's theory was that Caylee had intentionally killed her daughter in order to live a life free of responsibility. They alleged Caylee was drugged, suffocated with duct tape, and hidden in the trunk of Caylee's car before her body was disposed of in the woods. Caylee Anthony pleaded not guilty to all charges. As she sat in jail awaiting trial, public outrage exploded. Protesters gathered outside the courthouse. Media coverage intensified, and Caylee quickly became one of the most hated women in America. What came next would be one of the most watched and most controversial murder trials the United States had ever seen. The trial of Caylee Anthony officially began in May 2011, nearly 3 years after Caylee disappeared. From the very first day, it was clear this would not be an ordinary courtroom proceeding. Television cameras filled the courtroom. Reporters lined the streets outside. Millions of Americans followed every testimony in real time, turning the case into what many called the trial of the century. The prosecution's case. Prosecutors laid out a theory they believed explained everything. They argued that Caylee Anthony intentionally killed her daughter to free herself from the responsibilities of motherhood. According to the state, Caylee used chloroform to incapacitate Caylee, placed duct tape over her mouth and nose, and then store her body in the trunk of her car before dumping it in a wooded area near the family home. To support this claim, prosecutors pointed to internet searches for chloroform on the Anthony family computer, the alleged smell of human decomposition in Caylee's car, and Caylee's behavior during the 31 days Caylee was missing. They painted a picture of a mother who lied compulsively, partied while her child was gone, and showed no visible signs of concern. The defense strikes back. Caylee Anthony's defense attorney, Jose Baez, responded with a completely different narrative. Baez told jurors that Caylee's death was a tragic accident, not a murder. He claimed Caylee accidentally drowned in the family swimming pool and that Caylee, panicked and terrified, helped cover up the death rather than report it. The defense also attacked the prosecution's forensic evidence, calling it unreliable and speculative. Baez argued that the so-called chloroform evidence was based on flawed science and that no direct proof tied Caylee to an intentional killing. Then came the most shocking claim of all. Baez suggested that Caylee's father, George Anthony, helped dispose of Caylee's body. George strongly denied the allegation, and no charges were ever filed against him. As the courtroom absorbed these competing stories, Jurors were left with one central question. Was Caylee Anthony murdered, or was this a tragic accident buried under lies and fear? As the trial unfolded, jurors heard testimony that painted a deeply troubling picture of Caylee Anthony's behavior in the days and weeks after Caylee disappeared. Instead of reporting her daughter missing, Caylee went out with friends, attended house parties, and was photographed dancing at nightclubs. During this same period, she got a tattoo on her shoulder that read Bella Vita, beautiful life. To many watching, it was incomprehensible. But it wasn't just her behavior, it was her lies. Detectives testified that Caylee fabricated an entire life. She told police she worked at Universal Studios, even leading officers around the building before finally admitting she had never worked there at all. She invented a nanny named Zenaida Gonzalez, blamed her for Caylee's disappearance, and provided detailed stories about where Caylee was being cared for. Investigators later confirmed that no such nanny existed. Friends and family members also took the stand. Several testified that Caylee often relied on others to care for Caylee and appeared more focused on her social life than on parenting. Prosecutors argued these lies were not small or harmless. They were deliberate attempts to mislead investigators and buy time. The defense, however, framed the lies differently. They claimed Caylee was a habitual liar who panicked under pressure, not a calculated killer. According to the defense, her dishonesty showed immaturity and fear, not murder. But for jurors, the question remained painfully simple. Why would a mother lie so extensively if she had nothing to hide? As testimony continued, the courtroom and the nation waited for an answer that never truly came. After months of intense media coverage, witness testimonies, and courtroom drama, the moment everyone had been waiting for finally arrived: the jury's verdict. On July 5th, 2011, after roughly 10 hours of deliberation, the jury returned their decision. Caylee Anthony was found not guilty of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, and aggravated manslaughter, the charges that carried the possibility of the death penalty. However, Caylee was convicted on 4 misdemeanor counts of providing false information to law enforcement related to her repeated lies about Caylee's disappearance. These convictions carried a short jail sentence, which she had already served while awaiting trial. The public reaction was immediate and intense. Outside the courthouse, crowds of people expressed outrage, disbelief, and heartbreak. Many felt the verdict was a miscarriage of justice, while others argued that the jury had no choice due to the lack of concrete evidence directly linking Caylee to Caylee's death. In the courtroom, Caylee remained emotionless, a demeanor that sparked further controversy and debate. Some believed she was cold and calculated, while others saw her as a mother destroyed by grief and panic. The verdict not only concluded the legal case, but also ignited national debate about justice, media influence, and the American criminal system. It raised a haunting question. Did the jury get it right? Or did the system fail a little girl? The Caylee Anthony trial may have ended in a courtroom, but the story didn't end there. The verdict left the nation divided, and the case became a lasting topic of debate, documentaries, and true crime discussions. Many people were outraged by Caylee's acquittal on murder charges, arguing that justice had not been served for little Caylee. Others believed that the jury had followed the law correctly. There simply wasn't enough direct evidence to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The case also exposed the limits of forensic science at the time. The prosecution relied heavily on circumstantial evidence, including traces of chloroform in the family car and the condition of Caylee's body. However, experts later criticized some of the testing methods and interpretations, highlighting how forensic uncertainty can shape the outcome of a trial. In the years after the trial, Caylee Anthony largely stayed out of the public eye until she resurfaced on social media platforms like TikTok, where she began sharing aspects of her personal life and legal commentary. Her online presence reignited public fascination and strong opinions, showing that this case still captures national attention. The trial also had broader societal impacts. It sparked debates about media influence, as 24-hour coverage and social media campaigns shaped public opinion even before the verdict. It highlighted parental responsibility and child safety, leading to discussions on how the system tracks missing children. It demonstrated the importance of reasonable doubt in the American legal system, reminding us that even in emotionally charged cases, the law must rely on evidence. Despite acquittal, questions about Caylee's death remain. Did Caylee cause it intentionally, accidentally, or was there some other factor? The lack of closure continues to haunt both the public and those involved in the case. In the end, the Caylee Anthony case became more than a trial. It became a cultural phenomenon, a cautionary tale about justice, media, and the complex emotions surrounding loss and accountability. The case raises several haunting questions. How exactly did Caylee Anthony die? Was it an accident, neglect, or intentional harm? Could forensic science have been more advanced or applied differently to reach a clearer answer? Did the media circus influence public perception and put pressure on the jury? What does this case reveal about the limits of the American justice system, where emotion and evidence often collide? This case remains a stark reminder that in high-profile crimes, the court of public opinion is often just as powerful and just as unforgiving as the courtroom itself. For many, the questions of guilt, accountability, and morality remain unanswered, keeping the story alive in headlines, true crime documentaries, and conversations across the nation.
Thanks for watching. For more interesting videos, please subscribe.